I doubted him. I didn't have faith in him. I tried to do it by myself and I failed. And the moment I reached out and cried for help, for him to help me, it's when he literally pushed his hand down and pulled me out. So this is a video about something that I went through about a year ago. Well, it's been a year. It's been in the span of a year. And if you didn't know, I am a Christian. And I have been my entire life. And it was just a test of my faith. That's what it was. It was a test of my faith. And it has really changed the way I view things and the way I view my relationship with God and Jesus and everything like that. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. So if you've been following me for some time now, you know that I am Ghanaian, but I do live in Canada. So we moved down here about 11 years ago. And yeah, so I was actually born into a Catholic family. And because my grandfather was Catholic, so it was kind of like no-brainer. But after, a couple of years, I would say about like maybe 5 or 6, no, that was a lie. About like, 5 or 6 years I was born. About 5 or 6 years from when I was born, my parents moved to like a charismatic church. It's not denomination, it's just charismatic. So it's like upbeat and stuff like that. So they did that, and so that's basically, what I am, is charismatic. I'm like all over the place, it's not even funny. But I don't know where to start. First of all, I'm the type of person who, I need to stop saying First of all, I'm the type of person who is always going to be there for my friends, is always going to be there, the one who always gives the advice. Whatever advice you need, when you come to me, you're always going to get something out of it. So a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I know tend to come to me for certain advice, especially when you're going through like tough times and stuff like that. And last year around this time, I was in a place with my faith where it was really, really strong. I was really in tune to, what God was saying and his presence and stuff like that. So a lot of my advice to people were based around faith and trust and putting your trust in God and stuff like that. So it was quite interesting that I was, it was so easy for me to be like, don't worry about it, God's gonna handle it, da-da-da-da-da. And then I felt like God was like, let's test you. And I'm like, I didn't see it coming, and I absolutely failed that test of faith. I absolutely failed it, because the moment that foundation was shaken, I just like threw my hands in the air like, oh no, can't do it. And I just like nosedive deep straight down into like, peace out. A-Town, I'm gone. So it was kind of interesting that happened. Like looking back now, obviously it's funny because it's like, but it wasn't funny then. And I feel like that happened because, when they say sometimes when God is telling you to do something and you're taking your time, or you don't want to do it, or you're just like a bit unsure about it, that he is going to literally push you in that position where you have no other choice but to do it. This is one of those things, because during that time when I was like being there for a lot of people and giving them a lot of like spiritual advice and stuff like that, I felt like God was kind of like pushing me to do more. And that time I had my YouTube channel, like it was basically like starting up and stuff like that, and I felt like this strong urge to use my platform on YouTube to kind of like talk about certain things we go through. Listen, I'm 22 and there's a lot of shit that we go through every single day, like day in, day out. You know, high school students, university students, college students, whatever, like it's a lot, and I can relate to that. And so it's kind of like a voice from God telling me to use my platform here on YouTube to talk about certain situations that we go through as young Christians. So I was just like, no, I don't know. My channel's about beauty and stuff like that. I don't know if it's about all of that stuff. And now that I'm looking back, it's like that alone, that my reaction to that alone just made God like, okay, I'm going to push you so that you do what I want you to do. So that's how come I'm sitting here today saying what I'm saying to you guys. So my faith was tested during that time. So what happened was, okay, never mind. What happened was through my years in university, I'm in my 4th year now, taking global business management, but through my years in university, I've been heavily involved in like society stuff on campus and stuff like that. And there was this position on campus like for, I think it was vice president or something, vice president of like the SRC, like, you know, stuff like that, for events and stuff like that. So I was like, oh man, like this fits perfectly into my plan. And that's another thing, when you think you have a plan, God is like literally going to laugh at you, because he's like, no honey, you don't have a plan. So I was like, yo, that fits into my plan. I've been working so hard towards this and it's gonna fit perfectly, and the money was good. I'm like, yo, all my troubles are just gonna be gone with just this one job. And yeah, so I need it. I was like, so God, yeah, I need you to do something and make this thing happen. And I really put a lot of expectations. I wouldn't say faith, because it wasn't faith. I put a lot of expectations on him to make that happen, because I was like, I'm your daughter, and you know, you said you never want to see us suffer, you don't want to see us do bad, and this is exactly what I need for me to do good. By the way, if you're judging me when I'm speaking, I don't care, because guess what? Whatever I've been through, whatever my testimony is for God, is not for you. And if we all want to act like we don't go through certain things, then you can go ahead and do that. But I know what I went through, which is way more than I'm saying now, but it's a process. It's going to come out. So to like cut things short, I did not get the position, even though I applied for it. I went for the interview, everything. I was like, man, I got this, I didn't get the position, and I was so taken aback. Like, to me, that was my only plan for the year. That was my everything. That was what was gonna solve everything that I was going through and all my issues. So I was like, why didn't, like, I was so mad, like, I was so upset. Like, the thought of even talking about it would bring tears to my eyes at that point. Like, I was so upset about it, but I was just like, you know what? I was actually like really, really, really mad. And I was really mad at God, because I felt like he let me down. And now I'm at a point where I'm like struggling financially, struggling in school, because like all my focus and attention went onto like applying for that position. And it's like, it sunk me into a depression. And I'm one of those people who beforehand, to me, depression didn't exist. It was kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever, yeah, you can get over it type of thing. But to go through it yourself, it's like, man, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like the anxiety alone, it's like something sitting at the bottom of your stomach, and you don't know, it's just a feeling, and you don't know, it can't go away. You can't eat, you can't do anything because it's always there. And that anxiety led to depression, and I was so depressed. I was so disappointed. I was like, you know, God let me down, and you know, I've been, you know, riding with him this whole time, and the one thing that I asked for, he let me down and stuff like that. And I remember not wanting to get up in the morning. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. I was like, there's no hope. Forget everything. Like, forget my classes. I wouldn't go to class. I would just be like in bed, like, and every day I would cry. Every single, like, that's how like deep it went. Every single day I would cry over something, and it was just like sinking into this pit of sadness, excuse me, and I didn't know how to get out of it. I was still mad at God, and to me, there was no, I was really just disappointed. Really just disappointed. Hold on, we gotta take a break. So with me being disappointed and really let down by the whole situation, I really did backslide. Like, really, like, I stopped reading my Bible. I stopped listening to like gospel music, my worship songs. I stopped, like, I didn't have the passion to go to church anymore. I was just kind of like, okay, whatever, like, you know, you don't care about me type of situation. And I'll like be partying a lot with like my friends and stuff like that. And I think it was all to just try to mask the pain, or mask that disappointment and stuff like that, that I didn't even care for God anymore. It's just kind of like, yeah, okay. And it got to a point where it was like, when someone would like mention something, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good for you, but for me, I was let down type of thing. And that went on for months. That went on from like, I would say around October to like May. That's how like much this was like going on for. So it was just, I also felt like there were certain times where I would like reach out from my little pit of darkness and like try to reach out to God, and it was kind of like he was kind of quiet. He wasn't like really there, and I felt so alone. Like, nothing can fill that void, and I knew nothing could fill that void except for him. So that aided in me being like so alone, and just like, where are you? Where are you when I need you? Where were you when I needed you? You're the only one that could help me, and you let me down and stuff like that. And looking back now, it's kind of funny because it's like, who am I to say stuff like that? Who am I to speak to him that way, or to even think certain things that I thought? Because in those, what's it called, snap of his fingers, I could be gone, right? So that's looking back though. But at that point again, I was just like, you know, I see people around me and you're like on fire for God, and it's usually those people that have like recently been born again. So they're like, you know, in it, and you're like, yeah, you know, and you're crazy for him, and he's doing so many things in your life. He's changing this, changing that, and then it's me over here, who I've been in this my entire life basically, and it's like, I cannot relate to that fire, because I have always known or I've always believed in him. Whereas those people didn't believe in him before, so they were going through certain things, and now that they found him, it's like he's conquering every single thing. And I'm just sitting here like, I wish you would do for me as you were doing for them. That's how I felt. I felt like, you know, he was treating, you know, his people differently. I mean, not his people, but like his day ones. He was treating his day ones differently than he was his, like, you know, newbies and stuff like that. So it wasn't until like in August, was it August? Yeah, August, I went to Toronto for a church conference, and it was a women's conference, and the theme for the conference was adding faith to virtue. And it's 100% perfect. It was, I mean, who would have thought that it was perfect for my situation? That theme was perfect for my situation. So I went to the conference, and you know, that was a life change. That was like a spark. It was a switch. It was life changing. And I came to realize we had like one of these evening services, and this preacher from the States came to preach. I think her name is Medina Pullins or something. She came to preach, and she was talking about how sometimes God wants us to do certain things, and we want to take our own time, or we want to say no, not now, and stuff like that, and that will cause God to go quiet, or that will cause God to kind of put you in the position where you have no other option but to do what he wants you to do. So after the sermon, we were praying and stuff like that, and we were like really deep into worship and prayer, and I just started like bawling my eyes out, because it dawned on me that me refusing or me pushing away that assignment or that calling to like use my YouTube as a platform caused all this to happen. And it had finally put me in that position where I had no other option but to call out on God, where I had no other option but to actually talk about what I went through, because that's exactly what he wanted me to do. And I realized that when I was praying, and I was so like repentful, like I was so like regretful, because I'm like, all this time, this is all you've always wanted me to do, and I'm ready to do it now. Just show me how. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know you want me to do this. So I just need you now to help me, show me how to do it, so I can do this to the glory of your name. And that's all I kept saying throughout the prayer. Like, I remember those other like pastor, she was behind me, she was just holding me, because I was just like sobbing, because I'm like, I get it. I absolutely get it. And sometimes the things you have to go through just to like spark that action, or spark that fire for God and stuff like that. I really did appreciate everything. Like, everything happened for a reason, and everything makes sense in the end. And that's the one thing with God, is that everything makes sense in the end. Like, once you go through it, once you go through that trial, once you go through that tribulation, everything makes sense, and you come out with a clear vision of what he wants from you, or what he requires from you. And another thing from the conference was that the lady was saying, in order to keep our faith and not let it waver and stuff like that, we need to constantly have him in our minds. We need to constantly be exposed to him. And she was saying that faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. So whether it's, you know, watching sermons, reading your Bible every day, listening to worship music, it constantly needs to be going into your mind. Otherwise, you're going to forget about it. Something else is going to come in between, and it's just going to be like, it's just going to throw you off, basically. So that's the one thing that I would say I've really taken from that, is that I constantly need to be reminded. We constantly need to be reminded of what he does for us, and who he is and how to get over situations. So I've made it like a point to like watch a sermon almost every day. I feel like my faith now is like unshakable in this point, because I doubted him, I didn't have faith in him, I tried to do it by myself and I failed. And the moment I reached out and cried for help, for him to help me, it's when he literally pushed his hand down and pulled me out and was like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted you to be. I wanted to like break you down and build you back up where you have faith now. So I feel like now I am ready to listen. I'm ready to obey what he tells me, because I do speak to God a lot, and I feel like we have that bond where he speaks to me back. And you know, I know he's always there for me now. Nothing shakes me, nothing phases me. If I'm going through something and it feels like it's going to be tough, I'm just like, God, you're going to handle it, and I'm gonna let you handle it. And that's just how I roll now. No? Yeah. But I constantly need to be reminded that he is there. He is going to, by listening, reading his word and stuff like that. So I am going to be coming with you guys. I am going to be coming at you guys with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of new stuff, a bunch of, you know, topics that we can talk about, and that in relation to obviously our that we can talk about in relation to our walk with God. So I hope you guys are ready for that. If you're not a Christian and you're one of my subscribers, I wouldn't want you to feel like you can't watch my videos or you have to like unsubscribe or leave or whatever. You're fully welcome. This is a no judge zone. No judge zone, because trust me, certain things I have been through or certain things that I have experienced, how am I to judge you, you know what I mean? So this is a no judge zone, and come as you are, because we're all not perfect. And if you're perfect, then you don't need God. If you're perfect, then you don't need him. Nobody's perfect except for him. So if you're perfect, then that means, yeah, what you doing? So we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff, from like, you know, sex before marriage, boys, overcoming certain demons. Guys, I have a story to tell you. You know, that'll be on for another day. But I was story about how I literally conquered a demon. Like literally. Yeah. So I hope you guys look forward to my videos, and if you have any questions, if you have any topics you want to talk about, you can shoot me an email really quick at burgesson@gmail.com, and we can talk about it here together as a sisterhood, I don't know if guys watch me, but if guys watch me, they can come on too, and we can be just a hood, I don't know. But I hope you guys understood where I'm coming from. I know it's a bit all over the place, but if you have any questions or you're unsure about something I said or whatever, and again, if you have any topics you want to talk about, like real life topics that relate to our faith and stuff like that, then make sure you shoot me an email video. Make sure you shoot me an email and we can talk about it together. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thumbs up if you did. You know what to do. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, and join the family. And yeah, I can't wait. So I'll see you guys in my next video.